The Staffordshire oatcake has been a staple food here for generations. But while Stoke-on-Trent's food tastes haven't changed, political tastes have. In 2019, voters turned Stoke-on-Trent North on its head, electing a Conservative MP for the first time ever. A lot of that was down to Boris Johnson, but with him now out of the mix, the voters still feel drawn to the Conservatives.
I used to vote Labour years ago, and things weren't getting any better then, so I changed over to Conservative. And Boris has had a hard job, but we seem to still be in a bit of a mess.
Andrew is one of the voters who switched sides in 2019. He felt he knew a lot about Boris Johnson, with his larger-than-life character impossible to ignore. But he's less aware of Liz Truss and feels she may fall flat among voters.
Do you think you'll vote for Liz Truss, or do you think you'll go back to Labour?
I think the majority of Stoke-on-Trent might go to another party completely. I don't know much about her, so I've got to wait and see what she puts on the table, what she's going to do to help out the public, and then I can make my mind up if it goes to a general election.
While Andrew is yet to be convinced, Katie thinks Liz Truss still has a chance of keeping Stoke-on-Trent on side.
Do you think Liz Truss is able to keep Stoke-on-Trent blue?
I think people in the area will think that she's a bit similar to Boris. He was quite vocal, in a way quite passionate of what he was saying. And obviously Liz Truss is quite a reserved character. Times have changed from what it used to be. And I think a lot of people are quite firmly Conservatives at the minute.
Losing seats like this back to Labour after just one election could leave the Conservatives without a majority in Parliament. The area's MP backed Liz Truss for leader and believes she is able to repeat Boris Johnson's success here.
Is Liz Truss good enough for Stoke, and is she good enough to persuade the people of Stoke to stick with the Conservatives?
Liz Truss was the first cabinet minister to come visit Stoke-on-Trent North Kids Go and Talk after that 2019 general election, and she's come here during the leadership election as well and spent time here. She fully understands the challenges. Don't get me wrong, people lent us the vote in 2019, and we're going to be asking them to very generously lending it to us another time, because as you say, I'm the first ever Conservative member of Parliament for this constituency, so it's going to be an absolute challenge, but one I believe Liz will rise to.
In December last year, the Liberal Democrats burst Boris's bubble after winning the usually safe seat of North Shropshire. A simple metaphor, but the by-election loss did bruise Boris Johnson. Voters here are now split on whether the constituency will return to the Tories under Liz Truss.
This is the first time ever I voted for the Liberal Democrats.
Will you go back to the Conservatives under Liz Truss?
Not until she's proved what she can do.
Do you think she'll be enough to bring people back to the Conservatives?
No, I doubt it very much.
I don't know, I don't think that she'd be any better than the last one.
People like who they've got now, Helen Morgan, I think.
Some of the local elections are done on just to try and prove a point, but when it comes to the national elections, Conservatives will win it again and we'll go back to Conservative here.
When we go back to the by-election, people were worried about local issues and they felt taken for granted, and Liz Truss has emphasised how much of a continuation she is from that government. So no, I don't feel too worried.
Midland seats have given the Conservatives some of the biggest victories and biggest losses over the last few years. Many minds are seemingly undecided on Liz Truss, meaning for the new Prime Minister, it's all to play for. Lewis Warner, ITV News.